Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss the MOZA Racing R5 that I have here. I got a bundle and I have a Formula wheel here. But similar to what you're looking at the ES steering wheel right now, because this is part of the bundle, I'll show you some of my settings for those who are actually asking, and how I set my F1 or Formula One 2025 game. All right, so let's start. Here you can see my steering wheel moving right now. You can actually set this to 0 by just pressing, clicking this paddles here, left and right, and then click the number 1 or A as you can see on the screen right now, so you can center it. There you go. You will feel a vibration. Yeah, it will center it. Okay. First, you can see here is um, the maximum steering wheel angle here. Usually by default, you can see for F1 game, it's like a 360. Sometimes it's 540, but by default, usually it's 360. But I set mine for my preference for 320 only, all right? Because I don't want to really have a full twist, of my arm. It's like full 360 of it. All right. But it depends on how you want to set it up. But 360 is already a good one, right? So that you don't really move this, you know, very, very, very long steer. Right? Maybe for a circular wheel, that's good. But for a formula wheel, yeah, you might want it, to a bit uh, less, less turning for more quicker response. Right. So for MOZA R5 pace, I just put it to 100% to max it out, right? Put it on work mode. SRP pedal light, I did not get a clutch yet because I just programmed my brake, as my clutch as well. All right. So we have your throttle here. You can see that's my throttle, and this is the braking. You can actually set this up, you know even if how active you want it to be. You just want it to be on the middle. You then click set max and it will stay there, and it's going to be your max one. You set min, you can put it here. It depends. Me, I just want it in full up and down, right? Full push and pull. All right. Same with the brakes. I want it on full brake step forward, to make it harder, more realism, right? And then you set the mid, right? For the wheelbase, right? Basic setting. So I just oh, by the way, when you go up here, settings here actually automatically saved, all right? But here you will have to click save, all right? So we'll start with basics because we have basic settings, advanced settings, the equalizer, FFB effect, base FFB or force feedback curve, miscellaneous button mapping. All right. So here it will show you your saved or auto load preset here. Remember to always to turn this on. Okay, so that every time your computer restarts, what you've saved will be automatically loaded. All right. So R5 here, wheelbase. This is you can rename it actually when you put save here or save as. All right. So maximum steering wheel angle is 320 both, all right? For maximum steering and for the limit angle. Okay. Just usually do that so that you can really feel the center, all right, of your wheel. Synchronous, okay, I'll just put it like that so they'll sync. The soft limit, I from 1 to 10, I just put it on 5 so it will be balanced between soft and hard. Right? Soft limit gauge force, I don't turn this on, as you can see here. It's just soft limit. We don't want that. I mean, I myself, I don't prefer to do that. That's why I got this direct drive wheel to really feel the actual feedback and the strength of the spring, and full realism. Game force feedback intensity. So yeah, I put it 100. Maximum output torque. Yes, also 100 for full experience. I just turned on the reversal. I mean, to me, I might not really need it, because that's for legacy titles. We usually, or I usually play this modern ones, all right, the new ones, the triple A ones. But yeah, if you have some um, like an old title or some legacy titles, maybe you can try to use this if it's supported. Right? Hands off protection, yes. So this is like hands off setting. It's an algorithm which can detect and control steering wheel to remain in the center position, avoiding violent shaking or wiggling. All right, for novices, it is highly recommended to activate this setting to prevent an injury. I mean, novice or not, I mean, safety, still a priority here, especially if you have a toddler kid in your house, right? Might accidentally put their hand in there or something, right? Just protection. Okay, steering wheel inertia, yeah, it's just there. You can see it. I click, of course, this is my part of the bundle, so I just put it there by default. Maximum wheel speed, I just put it under 30 so I can have at least full control of it. Right? You can, you can make it higher if you're drifting or something. But for Formula One, I don't need it that much. So 30 will be just right. Advanced settings, right? So force feedback interpolation, I just put it by default 0, all right? Because it says here convert rough force feedback into smoother effects. Sometimes I do play Forza Horizon 5 or FH5. I do some off-roading there, so I just want to feel whatever the road is actually rolling on. Right, natural damping. I just put it at 42. For some reason, there's a 2 there, but that's fine. I mean, I love some of it to feel the damping. Friction, yes, for 15% will do. Natural inertia, yes, we're just going to keep it at 400, 100, less from the max, right? So you can read it as well. This is for the steering wheel to feel heavier when turning. I love that. All right, and maximum spring strength, put it at 25%. All right, I mean a quarter will just be right. Gear shift vibration intensity. I love to feel that when I'm shifting, and you can actually really feel it while the system is prepping like for an F1 game. If it shifts from neutral to gear one, something like that. Right? Uh, Direct input effect, yes, 100%. Game damping, game damping, game inertia, game friction. I just put it all 50, right? Like balance all of it. Speed dependent dumping, just 20% here. Yep. Start point, I just put it on, on 0 so I can really feel from the start or from the beginning. Temperature control strategy. Usually you don't really see it right away here, right? But this is actually a temperature control strategy. What this is actually saying here, the 50, because this one is there's a fan. There's actually a fan inside your MOZA wheelbase. But you cannot really control it here when to start because it's a firmware activated PWM inside the fan. All right. So what you can only set here is conservative and radical. I mean, if your ambient temperature in your room in your country is a bit cold, radical will be fine because there's a 60-degree Celsius here, which the firmware will actually, try will turn on the fan. But to me, conservative is actually still good. Make it a 50 degrees Celsius because for some people though, 50 degrees because it's the actual temperature that you'll feel, at the surface of your wheelbase. You know, it might be too hot, for someone to just accidentally put their, arms in there, but and hands. I mean that's fine. Backhand can be warm enough, but yeah, just be careful. Sometimes it can be really hot if you really put it on 60, but at least when it ramp up to 60, for 50, it's really a bit hot already to some. You can go 45, can be warm, but 60, I believe it's on the hot surface to touch already. All right, but yeah, for some experiences actually that I've heard using MOZA, they've actually started feeling, or the weak feeling of the force feedback. That is actually due to this. If your um, wheelbase start getting hot, the firmware will actually automatically turn on the cooling fan inside, but it's so small. Sometimes if you really uh, playing a long not a longer period of time, and all of FFB is like all 100, 100%, chances are it will heat up. But in hotter countries, or if your room is not that temperature controlled, like 24 below or 23 below, chances are you're going to starting to feel that your force feedback is getting weaker and weaker. All right. You know, a simple tip though, what I've done and what I did in my rig is, put the I place a 120 mm fan. It's like an exhaust fan from usually what you put in your PC. 120 mm, um, with air blowing downwards towards to the wheelbase. I just place it on top, right? This Because this fan is usually 12 volt. There's a 12 volt and a 5 volt here. 5 volt for the low speed, and 12 for high speed. I usually, because I have an adapter, a 12-volt adapter, so I just place it here to control, maximum uh, blowing fan. Currently, I have in my videos, in some of my videos, you can actually see it. It's on top of my sitting on top of my wheelbase. I just put an adhesive there, double adhesive 3M. Like, it can carry 6 kilogram. It's more than enough, you know, for your fan not to move. All right, and just put the screen guard on top. Blow it straight to the top fins of your MOZA wheelbase, and yeah, you can race all night long, and you'll feel the same force feedback. All right, just a simple, quick tip. Right, just keep it on conservative though, just to be safe as well. All right, enough of that. FFB effect equalizer. So I just customize it this way: 0, 10, 15, 25, 40, 60 hertz, and 100. As you can see, all the tabs here on top. All right. For the force feedback curve, I really want it that way. So, the enhancement of the feedbacks in the front mid section, so you can really feel it right away. All right. Especially when you're gripping your uh, wheel, like before you turn, you know, and your brakes are actually active. It's really fun. All right. You can try it. Others, miscellaneous, for current mode, standby mode. I always put it on work mode though. So it will be active. Bluetooth, yes, I keep it on because sometimes I use this um, software here. This is a SIM hub. I use it sometimes so I can have a display, like a dash using my phone. Right. Um, yeah, for some actually, most of you maybe new to the Moza wheel. This wheelbase, the R5. I'm not sure with other wheelbases though, but this one, you can turn on the music, right? You can turn it on so that you can play with it different types of music. I just put it on music one. You know, that's the one I just put on default, because when your LED lights, in front of the wheel are actually active, when you turn on your wheelbase, sometimes you cannot see the light. So it's like an indicator for me to turn this music on so that I would know that my wheel is already on or powered on. All right. You can adjust volume as well. I mean, just put it on audible, 25% or 25. Right? For button mapping, I don't really use this much. I just programmed my buttons in the actual game. For each game, right? So these are the buttons. Okay, so you can see the numbers here and the sequence toggle here as well. Yeah, you can also test it like that. So you can see uh, what buttons or number labels they are. All right, so you can see here RPM LED brightness. I just always put it on 15. I mean, you can lower it down if you want, but when your arms are actually, stretched forward, you might not really actually see that one, not unless your room is very dark. All right. Stick mode. I don't have a stick mode. I don't have a D-pad, so I just keep it in button. I just use paddles anyway. Here the key combination setting. I don't really. I just keep it on default. Engine RPM indicator. Of course, we put it on RPM indicator so that this LED here will work. Okay, if you turn it off, then it will be off. Right. Sometimes it's just on. On can just be like blinking or just doing that soft wave of light. No, right. But just put it on RPM so that all these lights will turn on as your engine ramps up. Okay. And I do put it on early, my engine RPM indicator timing, because compared to normal, though normal is just exactly how the computer will show you or how the game will actually show you how you how the engine ramps up. Okay, and when you even uh, shift your gears, I just put it on early, so it's some sort of a strategy that you can actually use as well, because if your indicators of your LEDs are actually blinks early red, that means you can have time to either delay it, or keep the engine uh, at the minimum rev, all right, so that you will not burn your engine or you not overuse your engine or even your turbos right away, especially if you're in a full race. Okay, it's a it can be a tip, for you, right? That I do, so I can decide, depending on how the game actually progresses, all right, or how the actual race is actually happening. So I can still decide to either delay my shifting, or or follow the early shifts, which is safer to keep my engine from running on a longer time, right, or a longer period. It will not overheat or damage it, so right, or the wear and tear also. So RPM, I just keep a percentage, not really on an RPM mode. I don't know if you can really feel much of this. I'd rather know that it's on percentage. It's easy, especially when you're driving. You don't really look at exact RPM. Maybe for from some gamers, they might actually do it, but me, no. Right here are the clutches. As what I said earlier, I don't have a clutch. I just use my brakes here. You can see in the F1 game, actually, you also use you can easily just convert your brakes to clutch. Right? So I did not purchase any, you know, any clutch pedals yet. Right? Maybe if I switch to a higher set. Right? Okay, throttle. Yep, it's like this. I put it on this curve so that when you're trail braking, yeah, it's easy, right? Yes, right. And then you can calibrate if you feel like there's something different, you know, then you can, right? You can always calibrate this. Usually, the system will allow you to calibrate it when you did your update, your firmware update. By the way, I'm using the 1.2, point 6.7 version. This is their most recent one. Right? Always check that. Right? This one we don't have it. This one we don't have it. So the rest I don't have it. It's just this wheelbase, you know, then the actual wheel and the pedals without a clutch. All right. Now we head to the F1. Okay, the actual game. All right. Okay, now I'll show you some of my settings that I use here. So you go to the control vibration and force feedback, and then you look for your wheel. I have a customized setting here, right? Not unless you're gonna use just the ES steering wheel, which is the default setting. But yeah, I just want to show you how I configured mine. Okay, calibration. Of course, you can do this once. Okay, and vibration feedback here, as you can see, my vibration and force feedback is actually turned on. To get the full experience of it. Vibration force feedback strength, I put it at maximum 150. On tracks, the rumble strip effects, the off track effects, and the pit stop effects, I all put it on balance at 50. Wheel damping, I put it on 25. Maximum wheel rotation, well, this is 320. There you go. And then you can actually save it. Okay. Acceleration, of course, I use the pedal. If you can see here, brakes and reverse and clutch. Yeah, as you can see there, it's there's like an exclamation point, meaning binding conflict, but it's actually not. Because in the game I can only use either brake or reverse anyway, so you can just leave it on like that. Okay, so these are my settings. In wheel left, pause, 38, button 38. You can refer to your button map. Okay, next camera 22, which is the actual camera. If you can see it in your on your ES wheel, it says cam there. Yeah, so that's the button 22. Forward, okay, space, so rewind. So these you can always refer to your button mapping for all of those. Yeah, navigation, up down is just my direction arrows. Okay. Menu up, menu down is the same as the navigation arrows. Okay. I don't assign this MFD shortcuts because I can just hit one MFD and just control it using my menu anyway. ERS is the same thing. UDP, I just keep it by default or on default. Okay, and then save. There you go. Now it's checked here because this is the current active setting that we have. All right, that's it. You are now ready to play. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good race. Goodbye.